Now we want to look at financial negotiating skills. How do the two of you make joint financial decisions? Going on a vacation, paying for meals when you go out, deciding to save for a home, whatever it might be. If you can't negotiate good financial decisions together now before you get married, it isn't going to get better later when you do get married. So you need to learn how to negotiate. And one of the things about a negotiation is that you want to have transparency on both sides. So both people have to say what they really feel, they have to share the real financial numbers, and they have to make a joint decision. What I see with a lot of young couples is a lot of power struggling. If I yell louder, I'll win, or if I pout and retreat, I'll win. So some people are aggressive or some people just withdraw, and that's how they use power to try to get their way. If you really want to be a good couple that lasts over time, you have to think as a team. So let's take the example of two people. One of them is in grad school, they're going to be a doctor, they've taken on huge debt. And another one has become an investment banker, they're making a great salary. In this case, the doctor right now can't contribute as much money, the future doctor, because he or she's in school maybe for 5 or 10 years. So maybe as a team, they have to decide to pay off all the school loans first, and the investment banker is going to contribute more money. Longer term down the road, maybe the investment banker can stay home and take care of the kids while the doctor works. In other words, make a team decision that works for both of you. If you power struggle and just try to get your own way, you're not really ready for a relationship. It's about winning for the team in the long run. That's where you see powerful couples who really make good financial matches and happy marriages. If I talk to you young ladies, most of you will say the most important thing that you want is this, the ring on the finger. And I wanted it too. We all want the ring. But I have to tell you something, there's something more important than getting the ring on that finger, seeing the credit report. So if you get into a situation where you're getting close to engagement, or you've been asked and someone's offered you a ring, which is really lovely, you need to see that person's credit report. Because whatever they've told you about their financial life and their financial situation is going to be revealed in the credit report. On the credit report, you will see, do they pay their bills on time? What is their credit rating? Do they have tax liens? Do they have a huge number of credit cards? Whatever it might be. Or are they really disciplined? Do they pay all their bills on time and they have a good credit score? That's going to affect your life going forward. And this is something they can't lie or hide about. The same thing goes for you. Your spouse needs to see your credit report. So I know of a guy who proposed to this girl, and he was really excited and they were very happy. But they didn't look at each other's credit reports until after they got married. And when they got married, he was horrified to see she had run up $40,000 at Bergdorf Goodman shopping for shoes. This did not make him happy, and they had to spend a long time paying off that debt before they could even think about buying a house or moving forward as a couple. If he had known that before, I don't know if he would have married her, or if maybe he would have waited to see if she could develop financial discipline, because that's still a problem in their marriage today. And you don't want to have that. Credit reports really tell the real deal story. So no credit report, no ring. If somebody says to you, oh, don't worry about money, we'll discuss that after we're married, that is a huge red flag. This is not somebody you want to marry. You need to have complete openness and financial transparency between you as a couple in order to have a happy marriage. Let's say you got the ring, you looked at the credit reports, everything looks great. Now it's time to talk to your parents about getting married. The first thing you're going to have to talk about as a couple, once you break the news to your family, is getting a prenuptial agreement. Why should you have a prenuptial agreement? Well, if you come from a wealthy family, you have assets from your family. Maybe you have shares in the family business, maybe you have a trust that's set up for you, or some other type of wealth. You want to make sure that those assets are going to behave the way you want them to in case the marriage does not work out. So if the marriage does not work out, you want to know, are you going to owe half of your premarital assets to your husband? Is that really what you want? Should he get half of your inheritance because he married to you for 2 years and then cheated on you? Probably you wouldn't be too happy about that situation. Do you want her to have half of your family business if she runs off with another guy after 6 months? I don't think so. A prenuptial agreement describes what would happen if the two of you get divorced. It talks about which assets are considered off the table, typically family assets on either side, and then how you would split the assets that you have earned during the marriage. The prenup would also talk about children. Would you have joint custody? Would both of you be financially responsible for children or not? It's good to get all these issues out on the table. It's a very intense, sometimes, financial negotiation before you get married, but trust me, it's much better to do this before you get married than after. Because if you can't go through the prenup process and come up with a plan in case things don't work out, then you're probably not going to be good marriage partners, and you could be in for a very messy divorce 4 or 5 years down the road. I see so many young people that get scared, they want to get married, they just grab somebody, stick a ring on her finger or his finger, and get married, and then 2 or 3 years later they want to get divorced. And they haven't discussed anything, and it's a big, expensive mess, especially if they're from a family of means. So avoid all of that. Be a little bit thoughtful. Go through all these important conversations before you get married, and then when you do get married, you can be part of the group of people who have a successful marriage that lasts for the rest of your life. By the way, if you just choose not to get married and you want to just live together, you need something very similar called a cohabitation agreement, because you are creating a sense of rights and obligations. So you could end up owing spousal support to someone you just live with, even if you're not legally married. So definitely consult your family's lawyers, talk to your parents. If you move in with somebody, if you're sharing a home and expenses, or legally getting married to them, you need to be covered legally. This is important for everybody, but especially if your family has money.